I'm gonna lay back and enjoy this.
We have a lot of fun news coming, so without
A
further
lot
ado,
of news coming.
I'd like
Okay.
to
You think they will talk about
Naoki
release date immediately?
Yoshida!
I think that should be the first thing.
Thank you for coming today, and thank you for watching our live stream. My name is Naoki Yoshida.
Yo, Yoshi P English has gotten a lot better over the 10 years. Like, he actually understands when I talk to Naimi in English, and he actually understands.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming to today's panel. Lots of you out here.
How many people?
It's like Fan Fest again.
Oh, really? That many people? Oh my god, that's quite a lot of people. What the f? He's gonna talk about the first 10 years, then he will talk about what's coming next and the changes for Dawn Trail onwards.
Looking back at the 10 years of Final Fantasy XIV, and then also talk about some new stuff that's coming up and how we're going to proceed from there.
Okay. I think it has to do with the stress topic. I think how the game become too complacent. Yo, this is actually huge, man. For a producer to come out to say that. Summary first, right? Summary first. I feel like they should have done in FanFest. These are the information that should be in FanFest.
We've seen an increase from 4 million to 10 million to 18 million.
Thank you, Asmongold and World of Warcraft, for the Endwalker rise. Asmongold contributed 4 million easy.
I just want to see a show of hands. Who here has been playing since the original 1.0 Final Fantasy XIV? Yay, we have some legacy players.
What? Only one guy? I started the game as he became the producer. I didn't know who the f he is, but I tell myself, the game can't be worse than this. Let's see what this guy can do, you know? I didn't expect that he's able to make 14 the way it became.
From here, I'd like to talk about the different expansions that were released. And
Yeah, summary first, yeah.
So first is A Realm Reborn, when we sort of rebuilt Final Fantasy XIV.
Yo, this should be in FanFest. This one is actually a good dev panel,
when we
I
first
think.
rebuilt 14, of course, I'm sure a lot of you may remember, but it's great that we were able to release the game, but with the server troubles and
Like, talk about how
issues,
much
you
the
know,
game become, you know?
see that all
How
too
it
familiar
improved,
pop-up
what
dialogue.
did they add?
I know, I'm sure nobody wants to
You
see
know?
that again.
He looks young, yeah. Yo, do I look the
That
same
said,
10 years
those of you
ago?
who tried to log in at the start of
Yoshi
Endwalker,
P
I'm
looks
sure the
different from
numbers
10
in
years
that
ago. Do I look the
third
same?
dialogue was much higher, maybe 3 times the number.
7.0は多分サーバーたくさん増やしたんで
Do I
大
look
丈
the
夫
same?
And of course, with A Realm Reborn, I'm sure you will have some memorable encounters, including Titan, which was very
Yo, I
challenging.
like how they say. I like how
By
they
the way, I
specifically
remember,
talk about how
the
the game
challenge
back
of
then
Titan
was
was
more
quite-
sparse.
Quite tough. So with his landslide, we may have lost
Yeah,
about
like how
300,000
much he talk about
registered
how
accounts.
content back then is very unfiltered, and then they
Yeah,
give
but
you
あとは、
reward that is like really good.
覚えてます
And then now moving 10 years later,
The Dark
the
Light-
game has become
Dark Light
predictable.
Empire,
The
the
game
Armor
become boring.
Series. Oh.
The game is still fun and hard, but then the game start giving you
まあ
irrelevant
そんなのがあって
reward. You know,
続いて
so
は
it's nice that they actually highlighted that, you know. Same for that, same for the job rotation, yeah. They actually talk about how the game back then was harder. They talk about the skill rotation. They are acknowledging some of these challenges that back then it had, you know. I want to see how, by the time you get to Shadowbringer and Storm's Blood, how did he feel about the game? Because that is gonna set off what 7.0 might become, right?
簡単なんじゃないかなっていうフィードバックをたくさんいただいていました。
True. Raid was too easy, some people think. That's why Savage, they make it so hard to start off Gordius Midas. Actually, I personally did not think that it was too easy. I thought it was okay.
And so we were like, okay, fine, we get it. It was a little bit easy.
そしたらですね、やりすぎだと。Too much! って
So we adjusted it. We adjusted the difficulty level, and now everybody was saying, no, it's too hard. You did it too far.
Gordius was definitely too hard. For a Savage, Gordius is definitely
with the
too hard.
feedback received,
Not just the
that is
difficulty,
when
the
we see
inconveniency,
job
the
mechanics,
jobs
different,
being
abilities
harder,
level,
DPS checks
and
being
major
tighter.
adjustments.
Overall, Gordius is definitely too hard for the player base. I thought Midas is okay. I think Gordius was too troublesome.
さあこの1回目のラスベガスのファンフェス行ったよっていう方います
Bye.
No,
With the
I
first
didn't
fan
go.
festival,
How
this
big
was
was the first fan
amazing
fest? Big
じゃあ
fan?
移って
Dude,
いきます
I was still working, man. I'm not a strummer. I feel like he's gonna blame us for the 2 minutes meta. I think he will talk about the 2 minutes. I think he will put it on us. I think he will blame us. You guys asked for it, we change it. And then after the Endwalker would be people complain about it. So what is gonna happen in 7.0?
We tried to diversify our content as well, including large-scale multiplayer
Should I
content
put my
like
face at the
Eureka. I
top?
think some of you are still enjoying that content.
Nice,
No,
I love the
Mahjong is
feedback.
another-
I love
Not
the
only did we
feedback for
sort of
Eureka.
皆さんのこうズズズズズズっていうのが出て ノーモアエウレカって書かれたんですよね。
Oh,
When we were talking
who did
about
that?
Eureka at the time in like a live letter, and we looked at the chat, and a lot of people were going ZZZ,
Who?
or no more Eureka.
Who said that? I'm banning you. See, that's why social media is a mistake.
And of course, we released Shadowbringers. So with this expansion, we kind of focused on the story and the RPG aspect of it, and trying to blend together the narrative into some of the combat that you encountered. And we feel that we were able to start
Yeah,
reaching that sort
it was
of
good. That's what
combat
Final Fantasy should be. Hard content should come with the story. That's why Eden was
we
so
were able
good,
to-
I think.
At this timing, there were more and more players joining Final Fantasy XIV. And
Thank you, Asmongold.
We realized that there are different needs for different players, and so that's when we
Because
started
of WoW
looking at
players,
accommodating
yes.
for even more variety of content.
エンドウォーカーへとつながっていきます。
And with all that, it connected into Endwalker.
Yeah, notice how the game become boring. Notice how all the flashy thing in the earlier expansion were there. He talked about it, all smile, everybody's happy. Now you notice all those things are gone. Where is the sparse content? Where is the challenges? Where is the variance? You notice? It's gone. Let's see how he feels
And
about
of
it.
course, with Final Fantasy XIV, we are an MMORPG, which doesn't technically end per se, but we tried to bring a sort of finale to a story arc at this time. And of course, we have a lot of people who enjoyed the story, and thankfully we had some really great acclaim about our story being very robust for an RPG.
And now you think back, look at
And
this slide.
a lot of
Endwalker
people
was
were
so
able to join
sad.
Final Fantasy XIV. And with this expansion, we kind of focused in on solo content, those that can be enjoyed with either one
I like how
person
he's
or a
justifying
small
it right now. They know the game has gotten bad. Now they are justifying it.
And so, of course, we implemented the duty support systems so that players who want to enjoy the story and the encounters that are associated with it can go into these different dungeons by
No, they don't
yourself.
have to.
And we were able to backtrack and support
That's why it's bad.
content or duty support.
They felt it, they
from
need
ARR
to, and
all
they
the way
did
to
it.
Endwalker.
But the answer is they didn't need to.
Thank you.
But they did it anyway. That's why it became bad. So now them coming out to justify it is fine. At least, you know, he's giving out explanation.
It is kind of
But what
curious
happens
because
next?
Even if this is an online game where typically it's
See, now he's
necessary for people to
questioning
work
it.
with other players to play. There are certain people who hesitate because they don't want that sort of interaction with other players, and so that's why they didn't try Final Fantasy XIV.
Okay.
That said, with content duty support, of course that also helped. But then the community welcomed these new peoples, and they were able to support them through their growth. And I think we were able to grow in numbers of our Warrior of Light. So I think that's also a great step forward as well.
Yeah, so which one are you gonna do? What is your future? You see, like Endwalker is purely for
So
new
with all that
players.
said, now we're striving for the future,
yeah.
which leads us to our next expansion.
What is your idea? What is the ideology for the next expansion? Are you still currently to go single player? I don't think so. I think he's gonna make more MMO aspect.
On the Final Fantasy XIV team internally, we call this 7.0.
サマー2024って書いてあるね。
We say summer 2024.
おい、リリースデートまだ出ないのか。
Yeah, it's a release date. We're gonna get a release date.
When are we gonna find out?
Till
about the
mid-July,
release date?
mid-July.
後で話すから。
Okay, he's
Don't
gonna
worry,
talk
we
about
will
it
talk
later.
about it just later in the presentation.
Okay, so we're gonna get a release date today. Please be July, mid-July. Why is this so much better than live letter and the keynote itself? Okay, let's see. What are they planning to do? This is more important. The last 10 years is done already. Let's not cry over spilled milk. It's done. Endwalker being this, sure. The next 10 years, where is your direction?
So, of course, throughout 6.0 Endwalker, through the 6.0
You need to remember you are making an MMORPG. I don't care whether this is a Final Fantasy game. The story is important. You need to remember this is an MMORPG. At the end of the day,
Dawn Trail, we want to aim for evolving as an MMORPG.
yeah, exactly, you should. Endwalker is just too laid back already.
So I'd like to go through what we're thinking about specifically.
Okay,
in
okay.
sort of like an overview of our concept.
マルチプレイという部分をさらに強化していこうと思います。
So of course, we would like to.
You have to. It's an
focus on
MMO. At the end of the
multiplayer
day, it's an
aspect,
MMO.
as one of those things.
それに際してラージスケール多人数で遊べると
This is an MMO.
So with that, we would like to refine
Those
or
people
to
who think that this is
tackle
single
on
player
more,
game, you are
large-scale
wrong.
duties.
At the end of the day, this is an
Hey,
MMO.
so
So
Ooh.
content that
They-
kind
okay.
of are in the same vein of Eureka
They already
or
start
Ostia
developing
is
already.
going to be in the works.
If the players are it's fine. We have dealt with shit players for 10 years already. It's fine. We know how to make them better. We got a community and tools that people can refer to, watch, and get better, right? You don't have to close them off and make them play single player game and play like shit themselves the whole time, right?
As they are playing Final Fantasy
You know?
14. So we want to also focus in on large-scale content, multiplayer content, as we go through 7.1.
Bring them in, right? Because this is at the end of the day an MMO. You can still make low-man content like Variant, sure, but you cannot forget the large scale. That's what Endwalker is missing. They can coincide, they can coexist. It shouldn't be
And
just one, you know?
Another important element that I want to cover is this.
遊びごたえの強化というのにちょっと改めて
Okay, does this mean the game being more difficult? More rewarding?
Gaming experience is how we worded it, but we want to kind of focus in on this as well.
Okay, okay. I think this is the part we're talking about the more stress. The game is too easy now. It's not fulfilling right now.
ターゲットサークルが
Yeah.
クソにこうでかくなってったりとか
The hitbox of the
So,
bosses is
for
too
example,
big.
this is one of the many feedback that we have received in that kind
It's
of
too
relates to that
easy.
fulfilling gaming experience. For example, the target circle of your enemy, the hitbox,
I think it's a bad thing.
is ridiculously large.
Yeah,
at this
it's a bad
point.
thing.
眠くなってくるなっていう
Oh, he thinks that it's too boring.
And in terms of battle mechanics, they tend
He
to
thinks
be
that the
very
boss
similar
hitbox being so
content to
big while
content,
doing
and
those mechanics is
some
too
people might
boring.
feel that it's very repetitive, feels like a pattern almost. And of course, it might help if you are trying to build your like gameplay experience and try to get a hang of it. But for some players, me included, I kind of get sleepy because it kind of gets routine and mundane.
まあ僕あんまりこうゲームしながら寝落ちすることない
This is the Yoshi P, I know. The gamer Yoshi P.
You know, we rarely fall asleep when we're playing games if we're really into it. But then sometimes when I get too tired, it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna. So
Yeah, I like how he's so honest though.
But spice it
Even
up a
he
little, but
thinks
keep
it's
spice it back.
boring.
That said, I
Okay?
do want to advise you.
こういう話をすると
Okay.
やばい吉田また難易度を上げようとしてるって思う方たくさんいらっしゃいます
When I talk about something like this, I know some people might get a knee-jerk reaction of, "Oh no, Yoshida is going to make everything difficult."
It doesn't mean the fight needs to be more difficult. No, 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 no. Smaller hitboxes moving the boss doesn't necessarily means the fight become harder. It's just more fulfilling, for example, as a tank. It doesn't need to be more difficult. Just don't give us too much QOL, for example. Let us do something ourselves, you know?
And so, for the most part, we're not trying to trouble people. We're trying not to make your lives difficult.
Yeah.
It's just we want to bring a little bit more.
It's just too easy now.
uniqueness, something that is new and original into these battles. So
Yeah.
Rest assured. So in the Japanese word, there's this word kuhu, which
I have no idea what that word is.
translates to kind of thinking with your own mind and kind of figuring it out. So I think we want to encourage players to build your own strategies, kind of talk to each other in your party to strategize. And
Because it's an
encourage that kind
MMO.
of gameplay also.
Oh, I knew he's gonna talk about it. Yeah, I knew he's gonna talk about it. Okay. So he's trying to make the game more inconvenient now. Not free, but not necessarily at the same note too difficult. Just not free. You know, there's gonna be changes that's gonna make you feel that you have
We would love to
control.
take challenges. I would like for my developers to be able to take on challenges, take risks in creating their content. And of course, we may screw up. We may have a misstep.
It might be
we
too difficult, yes.
Here apologizing to our players once again. But
It might be
you know,
yes.
we don't want things to be mundane. We want
Yeah,
things to be
exactly. But you don't want it to be
exciting as you
too
play Final Fantasy
too
XIV.
predictable.
まあこうなるとジョブはどうなるのかっていう心配がきっとあると思うんですが
Ooh. Here
And I'm
comes the
sure
job.
With this kind of talk, it might bring
He's gonna
beg
blame
the
us on the
question,
2 minute.
Like, well, so what's gonna happen to the different jobs and their mechanics?
Okay,
So,
okay.
Because we are reaching a sort of milestone level cap.
We
which
are
is
we are
level
too we have too much
100,
abilities, right?
It's not we don't intend to upset everything again. We want to just continue updating the
Okay.
different jobs and kind of add on to what we already have.
They don't wanna
set
make too
up
much
throughout
changes,
the
basically.
7.0
But what
and
about
7.x series.
Burst timings. I think jobs are fine. It's just burst timings, right?
So, of course, we're going to be focusing.
Yeah, I
on
think
the
jobs are
content
unique
itself,
that by
the
themselves.
encounters throughout 7.1
Except Summoner.
3 to bring back that sort of excitement. We talked about how we're going to bring back excitement to the content itself, but
I think it'll be harder. I actually think the game will be harder. I think tanks is gonna struggle. Tanks are gonna be so new and moving bosses. Bosses are not gonna fly back to the middle anymore. That is one example.
Into sort of improving the rewards so that yeah, we can sort of bolster that aspect of it.
This is the best day for Final Fantasy XIV players. This makes veteran players like me, Zeno, feel so vindicated. We have been talking about this for years, and then you f***ing casuals are always saying that we are wrong. The game shouldn't be like that. This is your producer coming out to tell you that you are wrong. This is what MMO should be. This is what the game should be. You guys don't understand. We might be stretching, but we know what we are talking about. We know what are the problems with the game. That's why we keep saying it. That's why we are complaining. It's not because we are wrong, because you don't understand.
So our goal is that by patch 7.3-ish, we would have maybe 1.5 times more compared to current.
You really think so? Okay. But you need to show it though. You can't make another Guardian. Despite you wanting a better, more fulfilling experience, you cannot make another Guardian. You can take this recap for me to talk over him. All those things that he said earlier, from making a more fulfilling experience all the way to better reward, is exactly all we want. How are they gonna do it? We will see. But that is all what we want. At least we have an idea that they are going to do it. Now I say this, right? Oh my god, the boss hitbox being too big, directionals are shit, it's become meaningless. Now I say it, and then after they change it, I could be wrong. Maybe I will be like, man, this sucks. Just bring back the big hit bosses. Like they say, they're gonna take risk from now on. They might do things different. They might do things maybe like back then. It might work, it might not. He is willing to take the blame if it turns out to be shit. But he wants his developer to start to make the game less mundane, aka slash brain dead, aka difficult. No, I'm not okay with the speed I'm getting here right now. No, we got 21 jobs. We cannot be 900 homes. If Yoshi P meant what he meant by raising it to 1.5 times, I would say that is mandatory. I wouldn't even say that it's like, yeah, I think that is what it needs to be done. At this point, 10 years later, I think rather than nitpicking, I think we should, yeah, we should be happy about that, right? All the good things are there. Making more MMO, large scale content coming back, but all the small skills are still there. Make the game more riskier, more fun to play, and get more reward while playing it. Yeah, that's all what we want. That's what we've been saying since Shadowbringer. Now, during Shadowbringer, people think that we are nitpicking. And then Endwalker came out. And then we tell everybody that Endwalker is way too predictable, way too boring. You are saying that we are wrong. Oh, the game's supposed to be like that. I love the game it is. Yeah, your producer just said that. No, how do you guys now feel about it? Yeah, f you Twitter. I'm very happy. That one slide put. Oh no, it's early July. I cannot rate Savage. I mean, I knew it. I was hoping mid-July. I cannot rate Savage. Okay, so they do get their together. They got back to proper development time now. You know, I was willing for them to release mid-July. But early July is them getting back, you know?
So with this early access start date, we actually wanted to start it a week earlier.
Ooh. But Elden Ring. Yep. Because of Elden Ring. What a good guy. Dude, developers wouldn't come and tell you this.
I'll give you 1 week.
Yeah, developers actually wouldn't tell you this. And that is the Yoshi P I know. This is the Yoshi P I followed in 1.2.0. You guys always think that I'm talking Yoshi P, I'm not. Because he's different the last few years. But this is the Yoshi P I knew. This is the dub for Final Fantasy XIV. This is more hype than Kino. This is more hype than FanFest. This is more hype than Live Level.
Discuss the release date.